So if you're thinking about moving to the North Dallas or North Fort Worth area, then this video is for you. We're going to take you on a tour of a David Weekley Collection home here in the master plan community called Treeline by Hillwood in Justin, Texas. Starting off right here in the heart of the home, you can see that this is a very nice open space. So if you are into the open concept, which most people are, this is a great plan. This plan is called Pemshore, for those of you that like to know the plan names. This is a Pemshore plan. And one thing, a lot of things I really like about this, but one thing I noticed right off the bat is, yes, it's very open. And oftentimes when you have open concept, your living room and your island can be right next to each other. But in this case, there is a lot of space for entertaining, just to not be all on top of each other. So let's go ahead and head on over to the kitchen. This beautiful island. This is a really, really long island. I don't know how many feet it is, but it is a very big island, plenty of space. You could even put another bar stool on either side. If you were entertaining, great place to have some wine and a charcuterie board. So really good size island here with a nice deep sink with no divider in it. I always say do that. You can actually wash an actual pot and pan in there. There's a lot of space going on around here. So when you open up your dishwasher, there's space to walk by it. You've got your refrigerator that's nice and built in over here, giving it a custom look with the cabinets that do go all the way up to the ceiling. Nice decorative backsplash. We've got our buffet over here, so great for coffee station, or maybe this is where you could put a wine fridge in here somewhere with a wine rack as well. You do have a good sized pantry. And then over here, we're going to have your gas cooktop. Remember, this neighborhood is going to be gas. Now, these glass doors are an upgrade. What you see in this house, the David Weekley Collection, is a little bit different than other David Weekley lines. So the David Weekley Collection, in order to keep the cost a little bit lower, because this house starts off at around $494. Homes in this neighborhood by David Weekley start off around $465. They have about 8 to 9 different packages for you to choose from. So rather than going to the design center and the cost going way up because you saw everything in the model and loved it, it's a little bit different here. There are a few upgrades you can still do, such as putting in glass, some of the lighting and things like that. And we'll talk about that as we go around the house. But what you see is just about what you get, but there are different color packages. And 8 or 9, it's actually quite a lot to choose from. So this is going to be an upgrade, okay? And I really actually like that they have 2 of them that have glass, and then you can hide all your other stuff. So plenty of storage space in here. Pots and pans drawer. Always love a good pots and pans drawer. So refrigerator over there, dishwasher, and then you have your oven over here with the built-in microwave. Once again, it's all built in, and so it gives it a really nice finished look. So we head on over into the living room. As we pass by, this is just a really big open space. So once again, I can see a really nice big hutch, or maybe a bookcase with glass doors on it. I know IKEA has one. I think it's called the Billy, and it's really pretty if you put glass doors on it. And that's what I could see here. Kind of a little bit of a modern look. That would look really good over there, and trust me, plenty of space for that, or your coffee bar. You could have a coffee cart over there. I think that's maybe what we would do, right, hon? Sure. Have a whole nice coffee cart or a wine cart. But anyway, I like to dream. So head on over here to the bright, open living room. As you can see, we are just surrounded by a lot of windows here. A lot of windows. I really like that the windows are big. There isn't anything obstructing your view. It's just a good picture window. And then they have the other smaller windows up at the top. And always make sure your curtains go all the way to the top of the ceiling. It really gives height to the space. This is a 1-story house. It is around 2,400 square feet, 4 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms with a space that could either be a dining, an office. We'll go by that in a little bit and talk about that. But it is a 1-story home, so the ceilings are going to be a little bit lower, but they're still pretty good size. Would you say 12 foot? Yeah. 12 foot tall ceilings. And you know what? I know a lot of people love those really, really tall 20 plus foot ceilings, and they are magnificent. But y'all, it does get hot here in Texas, and so it's kind of nice to have a ceiling that's a little bit lower, so when the AC is running, you can actually feel it. So keep that in mind. So you've got your kitchen, spacious living room, and also I do want to point out the design that you see on the wall over here. That is also an upgrade, which, to be honest with you, and even the sales rep, we talked about this as well. If this is something you really, really love, and this is the extent of the design you want, maybe consider doing it after move-in, because it's going to cost you a lot less to do it yourself than to have the builder do it. But if you just want to be able to move into your home and not have to do anything, then by all means, go ahead and have them do it. But it is a really nice touch over there. All right, so then this leads you over here to the dining area. Very spacious here, good sized table with 6 chairs. Honestly, you could easily put another leaf in this table and add even more seating, because it really is a good amount of space. As you can see, they have a really nice buffet table over here. More windows. What I like about the way they do these windows, because they could be all one window, but this just adds character to the space, having the smaller windows on the top and even over here above the door. Because way back in the day, in like what, the 1800s, they had transom windows, is that what it's called? So even above your bedroom door, even, not just outside, but something like this, you would have been able to open to allow airflow. And so that's just kind of where that character comes from in those older homes. Well, they've put that character here as well in a brand new home. And as we show you the rest of the house, I also want to talk a little bit about where Justin is located. So like I mentioned earlier, we are in a master plan community called Treeline here in Justin, Texas, which is just north of Fort Worth. It is in a city that is growing. It's in a very small city right now. Justin itself is a small city, but it's surrounded by much bigger cities, so plenty of amenities, plenty of things to do, plenty of conveniences as well. And Brandon, you mentioned something on another video that we did about getting into a neighborhood like this early on.
Well, it's important to get into a neighborhood early on because their prices are low right now, and like you said earlier, as time goes on, those prices are going to go up. They're going to start a new phase, and this house now, maybe in 9 or 10 months, 12 months,
it'll be more,
it's going to be more expensive.
And you know, we've seen that happen on cities that are north of Dallas, like Frisco and Prosper and Salina. They start, you know, around here, and then man, they have just become so unaffordable at this point, which is why we want to take you north of Fort Worth, because same builders that are here that are out there. It's the same quality, but at a much more affordable price. And by the way, we are in this extra space here that could be an office, it could be a dining room, it can be open, it could be closed off, it could be a playroom, game room, whatever you would, maybe flex space, to be honest with you. But if you did need a dedicated home office, this could be closed off. And this is right off of the kitchen. So we are actually in the foyer now. And one thing I didn't point out when we walked in was the flooring that does flow throughout the home. You did have carpet in the bedrooms, which is a really pretty textured carpet, which is really nice. But you're gonna have 3 bedrooms up here at the front, the bathroom as well, and your laundry room. Anytime you are thinking about new construction or going to look at model homes, make sure you give us a call and take your realtor with you on the first visit. A lot of builders that we work with, they are very realtor friendly. Some of them not quite so much. And if you don't bring your realtor with you the first visit, they might not even let you be represented by one. And we think it's very important to have someone on your side, to have someone advocating for you, because even with new construction, things can sometimes go awry. And so we would love to be with you on your very first visit. Also, reach out to us if you're thinking about new construction, because it can take many months to build a home, and you can lock in your prices now, but you're not moving for several months. And that's very important as well, because as time goes by and more people start moving into this neighborhood that's new, prices will increase. And there's also incentives going on, and those can change from time to time as well. Okay, so now we have just come off of the kitchen, living, and dining room into this beautiful, very open, very light and bright and happy master bedroom. Once again, you do have the windows up at the top, letting in a lot of light, nice picture windows as well. Plenty of space in this room. This is a king size bed, 2 nightstands and a dresser, and there's still room on the side. In fact, over here they were even able to put a chair over there, plenty of space. I don't think we've met a master bedroom that wasn't enough space. So this is a really good space. Let's head on over into the bathroom. And I did want to talk about some options here in the bathroom. So you are going to have your toilet room with a door, which is always very nice. Here is one of the packages you can see here that has color cabinets. So that's really pretty. Really love the dark paint here. You can have a tub in the bathroom. It can be freestanding. It can have a surround, but this is what they call a super shower. So it doesn't have a tub. Otherwise, a shower would be smaller if you are going to add a tub in the bathroom, but really good size shower in here, to be honest with you. And I like that they took the tile all the way up to the ceiling. And something to note, even if you really like a traditional look, this right here gives it a little bit of a modern twist, and that's stacking your tile rather than staggering it. I'm a huge fan of that. It's a little bit more clean on the eyes as well. And then over here, you do have a nice walk-in closet. And then of course, at the front of the house, you've got this beautiful front door, a nice open foyer, and there are going to be 3 bedrooms, bathroom, laundry room, and your garage is going to be over here, which is the sales center, so we won't go over there for now. But another thing about Justin, it is going to be Northwest ISD. Northwest ISD is one of the fastest growing ISDs here in the North Texas area. They offer so many things, especially when it comes to the high school level. They have several different academies. They have aviation and aerodynamics, biomedical science, cosmetology, culinary arts and hospitality. They even have early high school college, STEM program, which is going to be your science, technology, engineering, and math. And then they have things like construction, site management, construction management, HVAC, plumbing, electrical. There are a lot of really awesome things. I know I left a few out that Northwest ISD offers that honestly some of the surrounding districts do offer some, but not to this level. So it is growing rapidly. Justin is still a very small city, but a lot of conveniences. We've got grocery stores coming. You're not too far from 114, hun, about 7 minutes or 7 miles. Not too far from that, which that takes you to Tanger Outlet Mall, places like Costco. And like I said, mentioned earlier, a lot of new things are coming to this area. So we do know that that's very important to a lot of people that we are on Zoom calls with is where is the closest Target, where is the closest Walmart, grocery store, and things like that. But this is a very nice up and coming city. So we think that Treeline by Hillwood is a great place. It's a master plan community. So let's just go ahead and go into one of these bedrooms as we talk about the community that we're in. So just north of Fort Worth, Treeline is a master plan community by Hillwood. We have other videos about 2 other communities, Pecan Square and Harvest. They're also master plan by Hillwood. So this community is going to have things like pools. In fact, behind me, there's a little lookout that overlooks the walking path in this area. There's going to be a 3-story gaming treehouse, book nooks, fitness center, a lot of events, nature trails, biking trails. There's a lot that this community has to offer, and we'll link all of that in the description so you can check it out for yourself. So when it's all said and done here in Treeline, they'll have about 2,500 homes, which is a little smaller than some of the other master plan communities in this area. And with Tri-Point Homes, you are going to get a nice covered patio. Of course, the size of that is going to depend on the floor plan, but it is very necessary here in Texas to have a nice covered patio because we do reach 100 degrees for a while in July and August. So we are a big fan of covered patios. Justin, like I said, is located north of Fort Worth, and there's a lot of things to do indoors, a lot of amenities, a lot of places to go to. In fact, Fort Worth isn't that far from here, and there's a lot of really fun things to do, especially the stockyards and things like that. But also, there are lakes around here, hiking trails, biking trails, a lot of things to do outside as well, even though it is here in Texas. But we've got a video all about this community, Treeline in Justin, so make sure you go back, take a look at that one, and we'll see you on the next one.